Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Trackside Broadcasting. I hope you all had a great Easter, had a nice little 4-day break in the middle of it, and just about got through your first week back at work, and definitely ate more chocolate than is humanly possible, because I definitely did. Thank you for joining us again here tonight. Welcome back to everyone who's been with us in the past, and welcome if you're new here tonight. It is race 4 of 8, and we are back, and we are near the south coast of England, and we are racing at Thruxton. As always, though, before we get started, I just want to thank the Tanzo Racing Group, letting us bring you all of this action each and every single week, and especially thanks to our sponsors as well, Spectra Racing, Clark St. James Motorsport, and us here at Trackside Broadcasting for making all of this happen. As I said, race 4 of 8, halfway through the season, and we've had some great races so far. We've had a nice little break. Now, let's hope we get another really interesting race out on track. But tonight, joining me in the booth, as always, will be the man with every single little bit of knowledge about these best of British tracks that we are doing this season. Let's get him in here. Mr. Jimmy Marshall, good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing very, very well there, mate. I had a little bit of a tongue slip at the start there. Couldn't quite get my words out. Sorry about that for everyone at home. Not a great start for me there, but no, doing very, very well, mate. Very, very well. I had a good one last night. Looking forward to another one tonight, but in the GT3s, mate. How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. I mean, it's my local track, so yeah, it's always nice to see people racing around it.
Oh, definitely, mate. Definitely one very close to home. I've had it with myself with Silverstone that we did just before the break. So now it's your turn, mate. So I am looking forward to getting things underway here again, though, tonight, mate.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one, especially around a track like this. It's very, very flat out, so it's gonna cause some interesting strategies, I think, between the drivers.
No, definitely. We've had the cameras on for just a little while watching the end of practice there, and it was very, very fast lap times. We're on a 2.3 mile track here, just about 11 corners on it. It is massively flat out, though, for the majority of this one. A couple of heavy braking zones, a little bit more to slow you down in other little areas, but this is a really, really fast track tonight.
Yeah, especially with its GT3s. I think the more downforce you get around here, the less you're actually braking. So a lot of these drivers basically flat out for about 90% of the track, really, and then yeah, a few little lifts here and there, and then there's 2 chicanes where they're actually braking, and that's about it. So it does make it interesting. I think slipstream is going to become a big part of how people drive around here. So it's going to be interesting to see how they battle as well.
No, really, really interesting, mate. Really, really interesting. Again, we got a 60-minute feature race coming up. It's going to be a nice long one for them. We should see lots and lots of laps out here. So one to look forward to, my mate, indeed. But just before we get down there and start having a look at these times, do you want to remind everybody how it works here in the Tanzo Racing Group?
Yep, so we are on race 4 of 8 tonight, so halfway through the season. And yeah, so the drivers are going to be doing a 15-minute closed qualifying session, so they're going to be qualifying on their own. Don't have to worry about anyone else getting in their way. They could just set the best lap times possible to get the best spot on the grid for the start of the race. After qualifying, we'll have a brief 5-minute break for the drivers, and that gives them time to just do their pre-race rituals, pop to the bathroom, grab a cup of tea, whatever they need to before the race goes underway. And then we're on to our 60-minute race.
60 minutes of racing action. I am looking forward to it, Jimmy. I am looking forward to it. Shall we just remind everybody, though, at home that there's a little bit more to play for this season, though, isn't there, Jim?
Yep, we have a prize pool for this season. So £50 goes to P1 overall in the pros, and another £50 goes to P1 overall in the AMs. With an additional £25 being generously donated as a extra little prize here from our own Harry7. He is here in the race, and he's donating that £25 to the safest driver at the end of the season. Yeah, so the person with the least incidents across the whole season will get that nice little 25 from Harry7. So yeah, do him a favour and go check out his YouTube channel, Murby Goes, for that extra little incentive for these drivers here.
It is a nice little extra incentive. Now, it is funny though, Jim, just before we do jump down there, I was actually looking at the incidents points table, and Harry Seven is currently leading the board at the moment, but have spoken to Harry, and he has said that he's not going to be awarding the money to himself, so it will fall down to the next person. Halfway through the season, Harry Hartley Price is sitting at the top of the leaderboard with the least incident points, mate.
Well, I mean, yeah, you got to set the example yourself, haven't you? So
There you go.
nicely done, Harry, so far.
No, absolutely, mate, absolutely. Shall we have a little look at these lap times then, Jim? Because we saw the end of practice and we saw what they were doing. What are they up to at the moment? 7 minutes on the clock. Still just over the half a time to go now. So what are we looking at?
So yeah, so a lot of the drivers were doing around the sort of the high 106s to low 107s, and we're seeing a lot of that on the timing board at the moment. A few drivers a little bit outside of that, a few drivers above and below. So I think we're kind of seeing the rough timings that everyone's going to be setting, but I reckon it's going to get a little bit closer as they get a bit more used to the track, a bit more used to these tyre temps, and yeah, I think we'll probably see a few people just closing those gaps, reducing from the 108s down to the 107s, the 109s down to the 108s. Just slow
Well,
improvement as time goes on.
talking about the 108s and the 109s at the moment, look at our two fastest drivers so far this season, Andy White and Harry Price, at the top of the leaderboards at the minute. Kind of what's to become expected here. A 106.2 from Andy White and a 106.7 from Harry Price. These guys are absolutely flying already.
Yeah, those guys are real quick. I mean, they've shown us in the previous races that they mean
So,
business.
so there you go. Andy White definitely he's just on another fastest lap, a 106.1. That is
Those are some
I
mad
think that's one
times.
of the quickest that I've seen around here today. I think that was the quickest from practice as well.
Yeah, Casper Roos there, retiring to the pit lane. Currently in 20th, but we'll see what's happening with him. Yeah, Marshmallow212 in the YouTube chat. Big respect for that about the Harry Seven setting a good example there for the safest driver as well.
Oh,
I
you
mean,
got
it
it.
would have
Like
been
you said,
quite
you
funny
got
if it was the opposite and the 25 the
Does a,
safest driver and he's got the most incident points or something. But
gives himself a whole award ceremony and takes pictures for us all.
that would be
No,
funny.
it is good on him though, just to obviously not pay himself though. So do check him
Yeah,
out, guys. Moby goes on YouTube. Go check him out on that one. But no, I am looking forward to an interesting race here, Jim. It is a brilliant track, Thruxton. It's been around for quite a while now. I
yeah,
think
it's a
since
bit
around
different.
about World War II, I think.
Yeah, it was an old airfield base, I believe. So that's
Well,
quite exciting. I mean, there seems to be a lot of tracks that are built on like old Navy bases, air bases, and airplane
well,
hangars and stuff like
especially in the
that.
UK, are you like we've still got so bloody many of them. Might as well
So
put them to use for something.
yeah, might as well.
I know a few kart tracks that roll around in there as well, so they've got good flooring for it.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they had karting on iRacing. It'd be interesting to see how they do it. 'Cause they did try for a while. They have been trying for years to get it to work, but I guess like how do you simulate kind of all that leaning down, getting aerodynamics and all that whatnot. But yeah, GT3s this evening, and yeah, I'm interested to see how the racing goes around here because we have touched upon the fact that it is so flat out. I mean, there's that chicane there, and there's one kind of halfway through, maybe about a third of the way through the track. But then beyond that, they're pretty much flat out the entire time. So the difference between the 106s and the 109 is 3 seconds finding. You got to be real quick going through some of those chicanes to gain that extra bit of time.
Really, really quick, haven't you? And at the moment, we're seeing Andy White absolutely smashing it around there. 106.1 still the fastest time with just under 5 minutes to go. I think a lot of people are in the pit so at the moment.
Yeah, people are starting to come in. Just quickly, we got a shout out from JBot Racing 3524. Go on, Matthew Down. So yeah, good luck to him. He's currently P5 in the pros at the moment, so he's setting some good times up there. Near
Doing
enough. I
well.
mean, yeah, he's right on the back of Ryan Clark there, and Ryan Clark has been pretty quick over these last few races, so should
No,
be.
they've been very fast, and it's a good one for Mappy Dan joining us this season, new to the league. So still getting used to everybody out there, and he's holding his own absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, he really is. So, and also, if anyone else has got anyone that you want to give a little shout out to, feel free to just pop it in the YouTube chat, and we'll give it a mention.
Jimmy, we did have a little blast around this one, as we do with most of the tracks that we're going to call on. We had a little blast around this track earlier this week, and what would you say is probably going to be something in your head as you fly around here with about 20 other cars, just hopefully sitting behind you? Like, just what's going through your head on a track like this with it being so fast?
I don't know. It's a really tough one with this one because it is. Yeah, how do you handle kind of when you're going flat out, getting those overtakes done? You really need to get a good slipstream, and you need to be really smart with those overtakes because I think if people are lapping about a second or so quicker than you want to be following right behind them. So I think if you're battling too much, you're going to end up losing a bit of time. I think it's going to be real tactical going into this final chicane that we're seeing on screen right here. I think whoever can break the latest and carry the most speed through there, I think that's where it's all going to be done this evening.
It is a difficult one, really, isn't it? Especially when you're spending so much of the lap just pretty much with your foot down, going as quick as you possibly can, as the car will let you, as close to the car behind or the car in front of you, that you're trying to get past. It's a really, really difficult one. I just think it's going to be very, very fast paced action tonight. Like I said, it's 2.3 miles a lap, so there's a lot of ground to cover. Quite a wide track. If you can get up to the car next to you, in front of you, you'll get next to him. There's enough space for that. You hit those chicanes, though, you've got to be careful there as well. So it's such a difficult track. I think what I'm hoping is we don't see everybody absolutely space out on this one, to be completely honest with you.
But
All ever be it.
yeah, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube chat at the moment, but just quickly, Samantha Hopkins, come on, Andy, nice little shout out from your partner there, and spam this clown for Matthew down.
From Satnav there. Thanks, Satnav, for that one.
I quite like it.
Keep them coming in, guys, however they come. Let us know who you're rooting for tonight. Thanks for joining us again, everybody. James, we're nearly coming up to that last minute, just under a minute and a half left to go. Are you expecting to see many changes out there? We know Andy White and Harry Price are fast. They're at the top of the leaderboards again.
I don't know. There's about a tenth between like a lot of the drivers here. It's I don't know. I think everyone's pretty much done their fastest laps at this point, but I think there's gonna be a few drivers that are gonna be frustrated at this point, just not being able to find that extra tiny little bit, which hopefully they'll be able to find when the race begins. So
Yeah,
just
quickly looking at those splits, they are tight between some of the drivers there.
yeah, we got what's that?
Not a
Christopher
lot in it.
Haynes and Matthew Massey is 5/1000ths of a second. So
Yeah, I just saw that one before it flicked off, Jim. But shall we have a look at the qualifying, see how everybody gets on in just a few moments' time? Just got to wait for it to officially finish first.
yeah, a quick 30 seconds, and then we will be going to that 5 minute break before the race goes underway as well.
Looking forward to it tonight, Jim. Weather, though, if you look at the information on screen, though, Jim, it's a little bit overcast. Could we be expecting any rain, do you think, potentially tonight?
No, I think if there's going to be rain, it would say rain. This is just cloudy, so I think the cloud will help keep the track temperatures down a bit, keep keep the track cool, make it a bit easier on those drivers' tires. Yeah, so just quickly the qualifying results. So in P1 overall and leading the pros this race, we have Andy White, followed by Harry Price, Craig Corish, Harry Seven, Ryan Clark, Matthew Down. And in P7, but leading the AMS this race so far in qualifying, we have Daniel Paul, followed by James Moore, Jordan Butler, Matthew Massey, Christopher Haynes, Simon McPhee, Elmer Van Beek, James Vardigans, John Harley, Adrian Hadfield, Dinan Bronze, and Raymond Van Zutphen. Then we have Mike Chadwick, Casper Roost, Sean Clark, Glenn Ablard, and Jan Whitaker.
There you go.
So yeah, Jan not setting a time there, so be interesting to see what his plan is, because I feel like you kind of want to be out there, even if you're not gonna, if you don't think you're gonna be fast enough. Getting that extra little bit of practice time doing the qualifying does kind of help sometimes. And yeah, going out, getting used to how your tires feel around the track and find your braking zones, and yeah, it's good. A lot of clowns being spammed in the YouTube chat here. So Yeah.
Multi
As your dad,
21
he's still
UK,
proud.
Sparkly Bob. Cheers for that one, Sat Nav. Seen a lot of clowns. Not sure about that one. But no, definitely if I was Jan, I'd be a bit concerned going into this one without getting any qualifying time down. Maybe, I'm not sure if I saw him out in practice. I can't remember for the bit that we did see, but no, it's one of them. I'd not be too happy going into this race without setting a time around here because these guys are looking quite quick today. Like we said, Jim, you're looking like a 106 there, high end, low end for a couple of the drivers out front who we know are fast.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think if you're not feeling confident, just making sure you start at the back so you don't cause any trouble could be could be his little tactic here. We'll have to see as the race goes underway there.
Could be. I'll tell you one thing, Jim, that I did learn about Thruxton though. It's one of them tracks where you can actually pay a little bit of money and you can have a little drive around it yourself.
I know. They do a Formula experience there, and I really need to do that. Oh, we're going to see a drag race here at the strip.
Is this not lined up out of nowhere? We're getting an extra little race here.
I feel like they're either doing a little photo shoot behind the scenes, or we're going to see a little drag race down the strip, and I'm quite intrigued to see what they do with.
Right,
I mean,
chat, let us know. Is that a photo shoot? Oh, it's a drag race.
Oh,
No, it's a drag race.
Oh, look at that! The Mercedes well underway. Great start from the Mercedes there. Lamborghini in second. Can the other Mercedes getting that slipstream off the Lamborghini? Oh,
Oh, that was brilliant. Beautiful little extra free drag race for us there.
there you go. That's all the racing action you need.
I have to thank the cameraman for finding that one for us.
You know, it'd be great if anyone's got any extra fuel at the end of the race, just to line up on that drag strip and then.
Hint, 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 hint.
Yeah.
No, fuel's been a bit of an issue for a couple of them that we saw in the early stages, but they seem to be managing it quite well, don't they? To be fair, Jim. But this is a fast track. You're going to be burning through a lot of it, surely.
Yeah, but I think it's short enough that you'll be able to calculate fuel pretty well. I mean, it was it was interesting. Was it Daytona last season when we had Sam Berry? Like he had that interesting strategy. We had to like pit twice or something for fuel, and yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on.
There was some crazy stuff. Not going to mention any names, but I do remember someone rolling past the pit box literally and then running out of fuel as well. Couldn't get the reverse back. Like I said, I'm not mentioning any names. I'm not going to bring that up, but yeah, that was a brilliant one.
The
Casper Roost. Casper Roost, I think that was.
Yeah, there's
recognise that red and white.
Hide behind the wall there, so you don't see.
Nothing happened, I swear. But no, we've got a minute to go, James, before they start to line up out on the track. Probably get about half a lap, won't they, behind the safety car before that comes in. And then looking forward to 60 minutes of racing.
Yeah, I mean, because it's quite a short lap. I mean, obviously they're doing about a minute. I think we might get a full length pace lap. We'll have to see on that one, but I mean, it'd be interesting to give them a bit more time to heat their tyres up before we go underway.
They definitely need to. We say it every week. You don't need to get everything done in turn one, but it's a very fast track. You're going to need to get those temperatures up to a tied up temperature very quickly in this one.
Yeah, I mean, it should be all right, I think. I mean, you're not exactly doing lots of heavy turning. There's not a lot of heavy braking zones. There's that one little chicane, but as you'll see, kind of as they go around it, they're cutting the curb, kind of really opening at the corner. So they're not putting too much load on the tires this race. But they are basically, like, if you look at the track map, they're constantly turning. So you see it's just all bends and little corners and stuff.
There's a couple, but there's not really a proper straight, is there? It's like you said, they're constantly turning to some degree at some point of this race. So yeah,
we'll have to see.
Should be a good one. But no, the 5 minutes warm up is complete, so they will be starting to line up on track. You can see them. There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be a full length pace lap because we're still at the start finish straight there. So basically, what's going to happen now is all the drivers are going to line up on the grid. The lights are going to go out, and we're going to follow behind the safety car for one lap. The drivers, you'll see them doing a little bit of weaving, a little bit of wiggling on the on the tarmac there. And what that does is gets the heat in the tires, and then warmer tires give more grip. Obviously, to a certain extent, if they get too hot, it goes the other way. But yeah, they'll get that little heat in the tires, and it just makes the first few laps a bit more safer, a bit more predictable, a bit easier for them. So you'll see them weaving out there, and then as soon as that pace car dips into the pit lane, we'll follow on Andy White there in P1. As soon as he crosses that start-finish line, that is when the race is underway. But we'll call it as it goes when they go around.
I believe all drivers are now out on track, so they should starting to be going any time now. Can't see anybody still in the pits at the moment. Yep, away they go. So start of that pace lap, Jimmy.
Yeah, did we see if Jan actually ended up going back out on track? I couldn't remember.
I can't remember seeing his name. Is he there? Yeah.
Yep, Jan's there, Sean's there, Glenn Ablard is not, so...
No, I don't think Glenn's been with us since the start, because I don't recall seeing his name on that leaderboard. He, of course, finished in P3 for the pros last week, on a couple of weeks ago on Silverstone. But no, I don't think he's with us tonight.
No, that's a bit of a shame. The more the merrier, I'd say. But yeah, you can see the drivers there kind of spacing out a little bit, giving themselves some room. It's quite a nice wide track, so they can weave a bit more than they can on others, and you see them kind of there just weave a bit, getting a bit of heat in their tires. You see them sort of tapping on the brakes, getting the brakes up to temperature, because race cars kind of work the opposite to your standard everyday kind of car that you guys have got. So when you kind of want to brake harder with a race car, and more heat in the brakes, the more effective they work. So
no, you definitely do, and you want everybody that possibly can to get their tires up to the best temperature as well, don't you? So you get some great racing from the start.
Yeah, so we're doing our little pace lap round. The old, surprisingly sunny today, even though it is a little bit over cloudy. UK.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day today. I'm not quite sure. It was all right today, to be fair. It wasn't too warm by me, but I'm not in Thruxton.
No, we had a little bit of rain, but nothing too bad down here.
Tell you, it was frozen this morning, though, when I woke up. I know that. I scraped car
It really
for
was.
this morning.
Yeah, 4 degrees when I took my little dog out for a walk.
3 degrees. No, but should see that safety car coming in shortly. But no, you've got to be looking at Andy White and Harry Price, really, haven't you? Because they've been absolutely flying it.
Yeah, whatever they're doing with their setups, whatever they're doing with their practice, it is really, really working for them. And yeah, Scott McFull Sim Racing Chan 4178. There you go. Good luck, Andy and Harry. So yeah, I think I don't think they need too much luck. I think gotta wish the people behind them a bit of luck as well. I mean,
wasn't it Scott that we made choose last week which one to pick?
It might have been. Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. Not going to do that again to him. All right,
so
Jimmy.
Yeah, pace car will be dipping into the pits now. So we'll see Andy White. We're following him on board. As soon as he goes, they will be off, and it looks like they are going. So taking the defensive line right away, kind of keeping it to the left-hand side. Oh, a little tap there. Is that Elmer Van Beek?
1, 2, 3.
No, Elmer's all right. I didn't see who it was who went off, but yeah, that was quite a big hit. I think all those drivers, hopefully, if they can get back together, they can work together a bit. I mean, like we always say, every single week, 60-minute race. If you're going to make a mistake, do it now. Gives you plenty of time to catch back up.
You do not need to do all the racing on turn 1, but that does change the leaderboards a little bit. Andy White is still P1 with Harry Price in P2. Matthew Downs has moved up to P3, followed by Harry 7 in P4 and Craig Corish in P5. Ryan Clark is your P6, followed by Jordan Butler, P7 on track, but P1 in the AMS at the moment. P8, Daniel Paul, P2 in AMS, P3, James Moore, P9 on track, followed by Matt Massey, Elmer Van Beek, John Hartley, Jan Whitaker up to 13th, so didn't set a time, but middle-ish of the pack at the moment, so we'll have to keep an eye and see what he gets up to, followed by Raymond Van Suppen in 14th, with Crasper Roost, dropping down to 16th, Mike Chadwick taking 15th for now, keep an eye on that one. Denan Bronze down in 17th, with Adrian Hadfield in 18th, Scott McPhee in 19th, Christopher Haynes in 20, and it looks like Sean Clark and James Varkins are in the pits at the moment, so I'm thinking it's definitely 2 of them that were involved in that incident, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to see a turn 1 incident, but it does add a bit of excitement into the race. I mean, when we get a bit of time, we'll potentially go back and have a look at that. But yeah, Andy White looking so comfortable out on track already, 7/10 ahead. And then, yeah, Harry Price as well. 3 seconds already ahead of Matthew Down. I mean, Matthew Down's also going to be put under a bit of pressure from Harry 7 there, right on his tail, really putting the pressure on. I think they're going to start fighting at any moment now.
No, definitely. And Andy White and Harry Price have been so fast already this season, pretty much keeping hold of spot 1 and 2 in the pros here and out on track. They have been absolute brilliant driving. Like you said, 3.5 seconds to Harry Downs at the minute. I'll see what happens. But what happened at the start here, Jimmy? Talk us through it.
Yeah, so we've got Danan Bronze here on the right-hand side with someone on the left. So he's tracking a bit wide.
So
I think we're
something does
following the...
happen. Yeah, something does happen a little bit sooner than that.
Yeah, he just had no room to avoid, and then yeah, the three of them come together. Oh, that's a big hit into to James Vardigan's there. I think yeah, didn't. I'm surprised Danan Bronze didn't get proper damage from that. So who's the
There you
car
go.
in yellow?
So
Christopher
Christopher
Haynes.
Haynes.
So he's getting quite a light tap there, left tap there, but a big hit to the front right wheel. I think that's going to call James
Corrected a
Vardigan's
bit.
just absolutely swiped out there. Absolute craziness. Andy White, though, 1.2 seconds ahead of Harry Price, out of the slipstream, and yeah, he's just pulling away. Harry 7
Ha-
starting to fall back now from Matthew Downs as well, because he was 2/10 behind him, and now he's down to 8/10. So he's going to have some catching up to do. Craig Corrish really putting the pressure on Harry 7 now. And
there you
yeah, a bit
go.
of a gap to Ryan Clark.
No, absolutely. Just flipping over to the AMSO at the minute. Jordan Butler, P7 out on track, P1 in the AMS at the moment. He's still leading the way with James Moore behind him and Daniel Paul behind him as well. And there's about 1.5 seconds between the three of them at the moment. So those three are going to be fighting it out hopefully very shortly to try and get that P1 in class at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, there's some big gaps because of that incident at the beginning that need to be sort of made up so people can kind of catch up with each other. I think the drivers are really going to have to work together, figure out in your little packs who's the fastest driver, let them get in front and let them
Yeah.
tow everyone along. If you can, I don't know how well they're going to be able to bump draft each other because, yeah, because you're turning constantly the entire time. I think if you try and bump draft, it might get a little bit dicey. So we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, so we're just hearing now no further action for the turn 1, lap 1 incident. Just a racing incident, it seems. Just drivers getting a bit caught up and, yeah.
There you go. So was it Christopher Haynes was the one who flipped out at the start in the yellow?
Yeah, Christopher Haynes, James Vardigan's. Was it someone else was there as well?
Can't remember who
Was
the
it, was
third
it
one was
Sean
at the
Clark? I
moment.
think it was Sean Clark in there as well.
Maybe.
Oh, is he disconnected?
Possibly.
Yeah, I
Well, we'll
think
have to
Sean
have a
Clark
look at
might.
that one.
That's a bit disappointing if he has. Oh, went
We'll find out
very,
on that
very
one.
deep into there, Raymond did, into that final turn. Oh,
Oh, and he's lost it. Mike Chadwick has there. He's sliding
so
into the
close to
pits.
like keeping out of the wall though. I mean, is he going to drive through the pits or is he going to try and get back out on track?
No, it
Yeah,
looks
he's
like he's
back out on
backing
track.
out to get back out on track.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught out and stuck in the pit lane because then you essentially give yourself a little drive-through penalty there. Although I don't know if that really if back
He
in
wouldn't have
that
wanted that.
time could have done that 3-point turn back on track, slowed him down
There you
too
go.
much.
We'll call it a half a pit stop because he didn't quite make it there.
Yeah.
But let's have a look what happened there.
Oh. There you go. Let's pretend nothing happened. All right.
Oh,
So
no, I
Harry
thought we was
7, look at
cutting to
that.
see what happened.
Yeah, we've got a nice little gaggle of cars there. Harry 7 really picking up the pace again, putting the pressure on Matthew Down this early on. Craig Corrish, though, getting into the mix just behind them. Again, I think just using that slipstream, and I think they're just going to have to really work together to kind of pull a little gap from the boys in green behind them. Yeah,
No,
it seems that,
absolutely,
yeah,
Jim.
Sean's having some connection issues, which is why we're unable to see the replay properly. Because if he's not there, you can't really cut to him.
That might be explain what was happening just then. Didn't really see a lot going on, but no. Harry 7 now half a tenth down behind Matthew Downs in front of him, but he's got a long gap to Harry Price up ahead. Nearly 7 seconds at the moment from a third to second. The long
Yeah.
gap to catch up, Jim. It's early in the race as well. They're only going to extend on it if you don't catch them up now.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be one of those fights for P3 this race, sadly. I think, yeah, Harry Price and Andy White are just going to pull away from everyone. And especially with like the gaps that are forming, people battling. Yeah, I think it's going to be keep an eye on Harry Price and Andy White and their battle. We'll catch up with them a little bit later on. I think it's going to come down to Craig, Harry, or Matthew who can keep coolest under the pressure. I think.
Well, Matthew's been holding his own at the moment, but like I said, that time Harry 7 is cutting it down. We're on board with Harry 7 now, as he is indeed cutting him down at the moment. Will he make a move? It's looking that way side by side at the minute. I think Matthew Downs has just kept it for the moment, though,
No,
Jim.
Harry
And
7
again,
just
Harry
getting
7
ahead.
takes it.
Yeah, he takes the inside line, manages to keep so much more momentum. Yeah, some great driving going on right there. Puts Craig Corish just behind him now, so Craig Corish has got up into 4th. So, I mean, yeah, they are battling, and I think they've got every right to battle now. I think if you're not worrying about P1 and P2, for them, this is their P1. So, it's going to be whoever leads the entire way. And again, I mean, we talk about it a lot, about strategy and that kind of thing. It's you got to think of a mix of, if you know you're quicker than the driver in front, do you go ahead, or do you try and sit behind and you save a bit of fuel where you can maybe do a little bit of lifting whenever possible, just because you get that extra bit of slipstream from the car in front, and then you
See,
can go an extra lap on a lighter car.
that's something I'm sitting here looking at the minute as we're on board. We're looking at Daniel Paul chasing down Jordan Butler in front of him. Like, we know Dan Paul is quick. We also know Jordan Butler is quick, though. But I think Dan Paul's happy at the moment, just sitting behind him. Yeah, he's got James Moore in P3 chasing him down as well behind him. But I think at the moment, the three of them are very content with what's happening out on track at the moment. And it might just be a strategy come halfway through the race when we look at the pit stops or anything like that. But it's a hard one. I think some of these drivers are quite happy at the moment sitting in the draft of the car in front.
But I don't think he's happy being in the draft to the car in front. I think Craig Koresh, he's getting very, very close behind, taking slightly different lines, having a little look on the inside. I think he's going to want to make that move on Harry 7, and I think he's going to want to make it fairly soon. Kind of feels like he thinks that he's got a bit more pace, and he's going to try and sort of fight with him a bit, and then maybe try and force Harry 7 into fighting Matthew down behind him if he can get the move done. But their fighting has led Ryan Clark now into the mix, catching up right behind him as well. You can see that extra car in green. So we always say, if you're fighting, you're taking those defensive lines, kind of looking in your mirrors a bit, you're not driving to your full potential, and it does allow the cars behind to catch up, and then you are in a bit of a gaggle.
Well, Craig Corish is very close to the minute, like you said, Harry 7 in front of him. He will not want Matt Down and Ryan Clark in the mix with him, which they will be in a couple of minutes' time. He'll want to get that move done very, very quickly, and it looks like he's catching him right up to go for it any second now, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're really putting the pressure on each other. Just quickly, Multi 21 UK, Lambo represent. I think that was to old Matthew down there. And yeah, you don't really see many Lambos out in the GT3s anymore. I think it's just him and Matthew Massey. They are nice cars. I mean, they're
No, it does
proper
look good. It
bedroom
does look good
poster
out
cars,
there.
aren't they?
You can see it there just in the background, the red, white, and blue, lighter blue on it as well. It does look quite good out there. But no, it's a beautiful car. Sounds brilliant
Yeah.
as well out there, to be fair. But not many people's first choice when it comes to GT3 cars. You can see pretty much from the top five what the
Ooh,
popular
as
choices
we're
at the
talking
moment.
about the Lambo,
Lambo's facing the wrong way. What happened there?
so Matthew Down, just as we're talking about him, the old commentator curse, comes into
Sorry,
the
Matt.
chicane. Does he go in a little bit too hot? Maybe he
I
bottoms
think
out on
he
the
is.
curb a little bit.
He's
Yeah, I
very
think
quick into there.
yeah, you can see the car bouncing a little bit on curb exit. I think he just
Yeah.
bottomed it out a little bit too much,
Does
and
he hit
then
the
round
wall?
it goes. I think he kept it out the wall from what I could see.
He'd want to
Yeah,
keep it
heavy
out
on
the
the
wall.
brakes, stop the car from moving. Yeah, nice. He saved that very, very well, because that could have been near enough race ending.
Done
Yeah,
very well to
Mike
keep
21
it out the
UK.
wall.
Yeah,
Lambo represent indeed.
no, but
Not
then look.
not my curse, he says.
Yeah, yeah, we'll take credit for that one. Don't worry.
It's still a nice car. We can't argue that one. But no,
It's a nice car, and he gave us a little bit more time to look at it. That's how I see it.
oh,
Or
Daniel Paul on Jordan Butler in front of him
breaking
there.
very late into the chicane. I think Jordan Butler's going to have a slowdown penalty from being forced over that chicane. I mean, that's
That's
not
a bit
ideal for
unfair.
him. If he could serve that through the next chicane a little bit, get rid of that, he's going to force to slow down. I think it's about 1 to 1.5 seconds around there. So,
It
I
has
mean,
disappeared, so he might have done it already.
yeah, I think if he backed up those cars behind him very, very well, managed to serve that little slowdown, and off he goes. I think.
See, that didn't look like Jordan Butler's fault.
No, that wasn't Jordan Butler's fault. That would have been the Porsche behind, just missing their braking point just by a little bit, and then just pushing him a little bit wide into that chicane. But a slowdown
Can't
penalty
really,
is a slowdown.
yeah, you can't really say he gained the advantage there, in my opinion. But that is, he's got rid of that really, really quickly, keeping his P1 at the moment with Daniel Paul in P2 and James Moore in P3 in the AMS at the moment. Some good racing from these guys because these guys are really close together.
Yeah, so the stewards are investigating the collision between those two drivers, but I imagine it'll pretty much come down to a bit of a
That
nothing
the
incident. Yeah, you can see how late he's really braking into that chicane, and
side by side around the chicane, that's a bit brave.
yeah, and he just got over that curve a little bit, doing the same as Jordan Butler did, but to himself. And yeah, that's going to put him out of contention for that overtake for the time being. He's going to, there you go, he served that quite nicely just behind him, and yeah, they're back to racing. But all that slowing each other down has now put Elmer Van Beek and who's that, Matthew Massey into that fight as well, getting very, very close to each other. So yeah, it's quite nice seeing these the slipstream and like like really pulls the gaggle of cars together, gets a bit more racing going throughout the entire race, because you do see people start to spread out quite a bit in some of these tracks. But no, it's quite nice that they get to race a bit more.
No, it definitely is. It makes for an interesting race to call 100%. Like, you don't, oh, someone, is that the Lambo again facing the wrong way in the background? Yep, yes, it is.
Oh, Matthew, he's probably
What
got
have you,
his overheating his tires,
oh,
and he just needs to
Multi
keep it calm,
21
keep it
UK.
collected, and then
Well, I'm going to say Multi 21 UK. What have you done? What have you
yeah,
done?
let's blame that one on him.
We're only playing, mate. Don't worry about that one. We'll have to have a look potentially and see what happened to him there a little bit later. But no, Jordan Butler making the move back on James Moore, who had P1 for a very split second. They're currently battling out on track at the minute, side by side for now, Jimmy.
Yeah, they're having a really good scrap here. I mean, Jordan Butler has performed so well over over the last season or so, and he's definitely showing us how good a driver he is, which is how sort of calm and collected he does stay within these fights, just giving just enough room. Or as I say that,
James
but
Moore.
yeah,
Yeah, James Moore, just a little bit of an incident there and drifting slightly off track. That is going to be unfortunate for him as he was just fighting up there, Jordan Butler, side by side for quite a little bit of that lap there. That's some brilliant
yeah,
racing from the pair of them to stay on for as long as they did.
yeah. Did he lose much time? I think he has dropped back quite a bit. Yeah, he's lost nearly 4 seconds to the drivers, so he's going to have some catching up to do. But if these guys continue to fight, it should carry on. Like, he should be able to get back in the mix in absolutely no time, because we saw the big gap that was between yeah, Matthew Massey and Daniel Paul, and how as soon as the drivers started fighting, that gap really shortened. So
No, it really,
I
really
reckon he'll be
did.
back in the mix in no time.
No, next to no time at all. That does push Elmer Van Beek currently up to a P3 in the AMS at the moment, though. So he'll be quite happy with the outcome of them two fighting up ahead of him there to gain the advantage and gain the position. But
Yeah,
Jim, look at the top of the leaderboard here really quickly.
I was just
Distance
about to say
between
that.
second and third. We're nearly up to 15 seconds here already, and we are only 15 and a half minutes in.
Yeah, so just quickly, car number 95, 82 and 17. So warnings for contact. So that was that little bump we saw going into that chicane there that forced Jordan over the track limits, and just getting a bit fighty and scrappy there. Just the warnings, let them know if you get a little bit too fighty, you'll get a little telling off.
Just a little warning, just basically tell them to calm it down a little bit, isn't it, Jim? But you kind of understand it really when you're out there racing. You got guys all around you, like we're seeing today, especially around Jordan Butler, who has been taken by Daniel Paul now up to P1 in the AMS. James P6 out on track. He's taken Jordan Butler at some point a second ago, so we'll see what Jordan Butler can respond with. He's just about 3-4 tenths off of him at the moment, so a little bit of a gap. Numbers are going up.
Numbers are going up. James Moore though, down 3.2 seconds, so he is gaining that time. He's lost a little bit of it there, but Yeah, he has been gaining steadily throughout the track and back on those guys in front. But yeah, quarter of the way through the race, Andy White leading by 3 seconds on Harry Price. Harry Price leading by 15.7 seconds on Harry Seven. Harry Seven is still there in the fight with Craig Corrish. Ryan Clark just falling off the pack just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, great driving so far from Harry and Craig, like fighting properly,
Oh,
properly
they're doing
hard
some
up front.
real properly hard driving there. It is just it's very entertaining watching just watching these four at the moment just battling it out.
Yeah, they're the closest on track at the moment, and I think they're just having the fun there. Only Jan Whittaker doing well as well, starting from, I mean, literally last place, getting his way up to 11th place. I know he got a few freebies from that incident at the start, but he still worked his way through the field, and yeah, he's got a bit of a mission to gain on James Moore. But again, when James Moore catch up to the others and they start fighting, I think yeah, if Jan can start setting some good consistent lap times, he should be able to catch up with that fight and get in the mix as well. I mean,
Most
also, I think
definitely.
pit lanes, well, the pit stops is going to really, I think that's good. I think it's quite a tricky pit lane this one because you come out of that difficult chicane trying to carry as much speed through as possible, but the pit lane is right after the chicane. So if anyone's practiced their pit stops and the pit entries, they should be able to gain quite a bit of time through there, I reckon.
No, I have to agree with you on that one, James. I do think pits are massive strategy when it comes to this kind of racing, especially when you're like this close together. Because it's one of them, as much as you're in the race and trying to get that position off the, there you go, a little move there from Jordan Butler. Is he going to make it stick on Daniel Paul? Not at the moment. Sorry, it's one of them. You can stick out there battling and try and get that place, or give yourself a little bit of free air, get your head back in the game a little bit more. There's so much can be won or lost, and we've seen it in previous races, haven't we? With some brilliant pit stops throughout, really changed the leaderboards.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that's it's made the fight between Andy and Harry at the front so interesting because they sort of build these huge gaps and then through their pit strategies they end up right next to each other, really fighting hard. And yeah, Liam Hook 2928. Come on, Jordan Butler. Got a little shout out for you there in the YouTube chat. Yeah, Jordan's been doing great this race, and yeah, and Daniel Paul as well. Daniel Paul leading the AMs at the moment. He's yeah, he's having an absolute flyer right now.
No, he'll be really, really happy with that. After Jordan Butler won it for the AMs last week, P1 in the AMs, he'll be looking to get that again this week. So he'll need to catch up and overtake Daniel Paul at some point. But it'll be an interesting one. He's got plenty of time, just over 40 minutes to get that move done. Like you said, we've got the pits and everything. But I tell you what, one driver, Jimmy, I think would be pretty down about how today's race has gone so far since he started so well. Matthew down to 15th now. He was up in P3 at one point and was there for quite a while before the race with Harry Seven and Craig Corrish came into it. Little incident drops him down to P15. He'll be needing to do absolutely everything to get himself back up there with the rest of the pros.
Yeah, I mean he showed that he's got some really quick pace, and I think just possibly got a little flustered after that first spin, and then caused himself to have a second one. Maybe he wasn't being too careful on those hot tires, or maybe the Lambo just isn't great over those big curves on that chicane. So yeah, I think he's started to be a bit more comfortable now. He's working his way back up through the field, and he's just on the back of Casper Roos there. So he's at the back of the pack, but he can definitely start making his way through everyone as well. And especially if you get people start to get slowdowns over that chicane from cutting it a little bit, it does
Sorry,
make
just looking.
catching up a bit easier.
So just looking here, and Matt Massey getting himself side by side with Jordan Butler there. Not much of a fight between these two. Obviously, Matt Massey will want to get himself higher up the leaderboard to join the rest of the pros there, but causing Jordan Butler a little bit of an issue there, having to race a little bit more defensively with Matt Massey up next to him. He's dropped a little bit of time now to Daniel Paul, nearly a second gap there at 9 tenths at the moment to Dan Paul up ahead in P1 for the AMs. Not going to have liked that, really, is he?
No, he's not gonna like that at all. But yeah, there's some drivers though are doing like exceptionally. I mean, Daniel and Jordan really fighting hard for that P1 spot in the AMs, and they've been fighting it all season. But what I'm really liking about the AMs group is, yeah, there's been like the same few names that have been at the top, but you're seeing these other names constantly throwing themselves in there, getting the odd win here and there. I mean, James Moore, he's had a didn't he get a win a couple of weeks ago? Um, Elmer Van Beek as well. He's been very, very consistent and a great racer all season as well, and all the way through the field. I mean, Raymond, Simon, Adrian, Christopher Haynes, Mike, and all that lot. It's just been really kind of like chopping and changing, and yeah, some
Like,
great battles and great. Yeah, it could be anyone's championship still.
it's great to see the improvement from the drivers, which is giving us these battles, giving us these different race winners, race leaders, getting themselves up on the podium spots for the first time. I had a little look. I think it was James Moore when we was at Brands Hatch a few weeks ago, a couple of races ago. He managed to get himself up onto P2, so he had a great race there. P1 has eluded him so far this season.
Yeah, but there's still time. There's still time, and I mean, we are seeing a huge like variety of the types of tracks that everyone's racing on. So you're gonna have some tracks that you're gonna be good at, and some that you're not gonna be so good at. So yeah,
No,
it's gonna be one of
absolutely.
those things that just it's gonna reward a good all-around driver this season.
I'll tell you, I wonder if we're going to find a track that's going to stop Mono at the top of the leaderboard. Mono competition with
Andy White and Harry Price. Look at 21 seconds, 21 and a half seconds. Harry Price has got on Harry 7, keeping him and Andy White up there, racing all alone.
Yeah, I don't know what they're putting on their Weetabix in the morning, but they are, yeah, just phenomenal
absolutely
drivers.
flying again so far today. We are, what, 23 minutes into this race. It's over half an hour left to go. Yes, we've still got the pits to go, but I seriously, unless these guys do something that's majorly wrong, I just don't see them not finishing up in P1 and P2 most races if they're going to keep performing like this.
Yeah, I mean, the championship is probably going to be pretty much theirs. I mean, I'd be interested to see what would happen if they did a little last to first maybe, but well, but no, I
No.
think yeah, I mean if yeah, I just don't want to say yeah, they're just doing
No,
just
they're just doing
exceptionally.
their own things.
Yeah, they're racing their own race with each other, and I mean, yeah, I mean, it is interesting watching them because they do clearly have two very different strategies going on. Because they do like one of them usually just drives away from the other, but then by the end they're battling for the championship, and there's clearly something that they're doing, but the fact that they always end up fighting together, and it's just yeah, it's madness.
Does make for madness between the two of them. A little stat though: Andy White has led more laps between the two of them. The Mono competition at the top of the leaderboard this season. So he sat out there in P1 more than anybody else, and especially Harry Price on his team, his teammate there.
Do you know who's got the most wins out of the two?
Just double check, but I believe it's Andy White who has more wins. I should tell you. So Andy White won our first one at Donington. Harry won Brands Hatch. Andy came second. Silverstone, Andy won again, and we're up to today. So 2 races, 3 races to 1 at the moment.
Okay, so still could be anyone's game between the two of them, but I think Andy clearly has the edge on this track just by a little bit because I mean straight away from the start he was just off on his own, and I think Harry hasn't quite gotten back into the slipstream into that 1 second mark once again. But James Moore here really putting the pressure on John Harley here, catching right up back to the back of him, looking to make that overtake soon, carrying so much speed through these corners. And yeah, Craig Corish here. What's happened to Harry 7? Because he was fighting quite hard at the beginning, so always just taking the scenic route.
Taking the very scenic route there.
So what
Has
happens
he?
there? Does he just clip that inside grass a little bit too much? Just sends him. Oh, I just
Yeah, it does
yeah, he just
flick him
bottoms
out,
out on that curb. Blimey.
pushes him right out, and allows the car of Ryan Clark to get past him there.
Yeah, I mean that is the thing about British tracks, and yeah, we'll see it all throughout the season, especially on some of the up and coming tracks we got left. We don't really like a lot of runoff on on our tracks. It's tarmac, and then it's just grass, and then it's just wall. So
Well, I'm having a little look at what we've got left coming up, and no, you've pretty much hit the nail on the head there, that Jimmy. There's not a lot of runoff at all on the tracks that we've got coming up for everybody. Truly British tracks follow a trend.
I mean, we've got a lot of fighting here. So Matthew down 16 seconds off of James Moore, but he is making up the time. He's really working his way through the field. I reckon we still might see him because we're coming up to the halfway point very, very soon. I think we might see Matthew Down get himself back up into maybe P6 of the pros.
Possibly,
Yeah, that's
possibly.
just my estimation.
No, well, I can see what he does. He's gained a couple of spots in the last few laps. I think when we joined him earlier, he was down in P15. So he's got himself past Raymond Van Sutton and Casper Roos now. So P13 out on track at the minute. So still got quite a bit to do. But like you said, we're coming to the halfway point. So we're going to see some pits coming in. And there we go. We've got Jordan Butler currently in at the moment. So I'm sure we'll start to see some more drivers coming in soon. And that should shake up the order just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it is that perfect time for pit stops, and whether you want to go for that undercut or the overcut is really going to make such a huge difference. Because if you can go for that undercut, get yourself already warmed up, and then flying on a good outlap, come out without any traffic around you, and just start putting some pace down. When the other drivers are coming at that pit lane at that slow speed, you should already have the momentum to fly past them. So we're just going to take a look at this incident right here.
Is this one with Mike Chadwick earlier on in the race, was it?
So they've slowed down to let the leaders go past them, and then just loses it. And that curb on the inside there just really seems to bottom out some of these cars. And I think when you are running such like low downforce, because you really want to get as much speed as possible, I think they just get a little too unsettled going over some of these high curbs.
You know, you've really got to watch it when you set your car up for something like this kind of track that really is so flat out for a lot of it. There's only a couple of real braking zones there to slow you right down. You saw it on the chicane just there. There's another one slightly further around, and that's what's really slowing you down. But apart from that, Jim, you look at 60-70% of this track, you're going to be foot down all the way.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's where the undercut overcut thing with the pits is going to be interesting because, so like Jordan Butler did, he's pitted early. He's going to get into clean air. He's going to be able to put down some really, really good lap times. And, well, not only cuts the corner.
From Butler. He's going to get himself slowed down. There it is.
Yeah, the old classic commentator's curse. But, yeah, you get that heavier car, but you've got the better track position and you've got that momentum already. But then if you stay out, your car gets lighter and lighter from less fuel. And, yeah, you get those quicker lap times. But then you are slower later on when the car that you were battling with, who pitted earlier, has got that momentum already on track. So it's going to be very interesting around here what they choose to do. So undercut, overcut. I mean, personally, I think the staying out as long as possible might be the effective route because you want to keep that momentum going for as long as possible, and you want to stay on that lighter car. But sometimes that undercut as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, if I was tracking behind another car, keeping it close, keeping his draft, and keeping my fuel levels lower than probably what they should be at that point in the race, I'd definitely try and do the latest pit that I possibly could, really.
Yeah, and I think as well, but though pitting, because they are constantly turning and there's a lot of fighting going on, and I know they're not braking hard, but they are constantly putting a bit of load on those tyres as they sort of turning around these big sweeping corners at high speeds. You do get a bit of heat, a bit of wear in them. There you go, dipping into the pit lane, trying to get that gap from each other. Simon Fee staying out, and I believe that was Raymond dipping into the pit lane there just to get a bit of clean air away from him. Daniel Paul there fighting with Jordan Butler, back fighting once again. And yeah, these guys have not left each other alone this whole race, have they?
No. They had about a 5-minute gap a few seconds ago until Daniel Paul's closed down the gap back now to Jordan Butler, where we're at right now. But no, they pretty much had 25 minutes of solid racing against each other. A couple of little swap around in positions where they were. There we go. Just look at Massey go wide, allow Jordan Butler and Dan Paul to go through, gives themselves a gap now to Simon McPhee, who's going to come up behind them, about 5 seconds behind the moment. Elmer Van Beek leading the way for the AMs up in P5, but obviously pits are going on at the moment, so I'm expecting that to change. Jordan Butler up into P2 and Daniel Paul in P3 for the AMs.
Was that someone just pulled over on the side of the track there? I believe the yeah, it's got Christopher Haynes here. So what's he doing? Goes through the goes over that little bump.
Cuts it wide, cuts the grass. Maybe no, he's still turning, so he's still with us.
I think he's just slowing down just to let the car go past. Yeah, so he's just keeping it safe, keeping himself out of the way. I thought he just pulled over onto the side of the grass.
Oh, a good spot. I completely missed him there. His yellow car sitting in the green field. I don't know how I quite missed that one.
There you go, Elmer Van Beek dipping into the pit lane there, nice and steady there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where where everyone turns out after this pit lane, because I've not seen anyone get a slowdown or a black flag from going too fast in the pit lane as of yet. So hopefully everyone's done a bit of practice and kept it clean.
Is Adrian missing his front bumper? I believe he is. Yes.
It looks like he's missing a little bit of it, but then
yeah. A little bit of it? I thought I saw his tyres like when we had the front on like we've got now, but
yeah, it's hard to tell if that is the design of the car or if that is his front bumper. But one thing to note, these drivers do have what's called a fast repair. So once per race, if you get into a big accident or whatever happens, you can dip into the pit lane and you get an instant repair to your car. It doesn't affect tyres, and it doesn't affect fuel. So it's only if you get damaged that you can get it fixed right away. So if you do your pit stop and you just want it fixed, you can get that fixed instantly without having to wait all the time. So Adrian Hadfield, though, black flag, so that could potentially be going too fast into that pit lane, and now he's got to serve a penalty for it, or it could potentially be for instant point limit reached. So we'll have to find out about that one.
Yeah, find out about that one indeed. But down in P18th at the minute, last thing you're going to really want is a drive-through penalty when you're low down on the leaderboard like that.
No, absolutely, because it's just going to stop you being able to get any chance of catching up, but it's going to be a bit of a shame, really. Yeah, speeding on pit exit has just been confirmed.
No, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Marshall, for letting us know on that one. So, naughty, Mr. Hadfield. Don't put that foot down too soon. There you go. Multi-21 UK came back and says, Dan was just been hustling. So he's hustling people for his positions now. He is just jumped into the pits at the moment. So, no, if he comes out, where's he going to come out? Round about P14?
I think just behind James Moore, I think he's going to come out behind.
Yeah, possibly P13, P14 maybe. Coming out right now, so yeah.
Just behind James Moore. So he's got a bit of catching up to do, but he's not far off of top 10. But speaking of which, so Jan Whittaker starting in, what was it, 22nd, I believe. 22nd, yeah, up into the top 10. So that's pretty good going from him. Elmer Van Beek as well in 9th. But yeah, going through the order so far that we have it, we've got Andy White in first. Then we're followed by Harry Price, Ryan Clark, Craig Corish. Then we've got Harry Seven just behind him, with Jordan Butler just behind him as well. Daniel Paul, who's been fighting Jordan Butler this whole race. Matthew Massey, who's been doing very well to keep it nice and consistent and in the running as well. Elmer Van Beek just behind him, putting the pressure on a little bit with Jan Whittaker behind him on positions, but not on track. John Hardy next behind him. James Moore. Then we've got Matthew Down working his way up through the field. Simon McPhee just behind him, with Raymond van der Suffen as well. Casper Roost behind him. And then we've got the people who were involved in that incident at the beginning with the crashes. We've got James Varnagans, who got that damage. We've got Adrian Hadfield, Mike Chadwick as well, Christopher Haynes. We've got Denand Bronze as well. He took that big hit at the beginning. And then Sean Clark as well, who is out of the race.
No, still 22 drivers out on track. Adrian Hadfield's still got to serve his black flag. It's been an interesting 36 minutes so far, James. We are over halfway through this race right now. Something you always put me on the spot for, but I'm going to give you time to think about. I want you to pick a pro driver of the day for me later on in this race, all right?
Okay. Yeah, I do like the driver of the day discussions.
We're going to pick our driver of the day. I want you to pick the pro. I'm going to pick my AM driver of the day.
Chat. Let us know. Come close to the end of the race. Let us know who you think your driver of the day is as well.
Yeah, a bit of cameraman whiplash there. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, so far the first names that come to mind are obviously Ryan, Craig, and Harry just having that huge battle up for P3 there. And as you say that, every time I mention someone, they keep going off track.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start mentioning names. Actually, you know what? Andy White, Harry Price. No, sorry, I'm not gonna be mean to you guys. They've been doing absolute beautiful race out on track. Andy White pulling a 10-second lead on Harry there. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. Like usually they catch up after the pit stops, but Andy is just pulling away right now.
Well, you've got 10, nearly 11 seconds now. That time is just going up and up and up the more I'm looking at it. And then you've got Harry down to Ryan, 35.5 seconds as well there. There is a huge gap between second and third. And Craig's just keeping it behind Ryan in fourth at the moment. 1.5 seconds around about there. Just can't seem to quite catch him at the moment. Got Harry Seven though, who is chasing down Craig Corish. He wants to get himself back higher up on the leaderboard. Was sitting P3 earlier, but now down in P5 as we look at him at the moment. But he's just under a second behind Craig Corish at the minute. 37, 38 minutes on the clock down. This is the kind of times that I'm starting to think about where I need to start to solidify a position. I need to get myself up there. I need to start doing things, James. What's your thinking on that one?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 20 minutes to go. We've seen that, like, you can get those overtakes done, but it is hard work to maintain that position. So you want to leave it as late as possible to give the person behind you as little opportunity to get in that slipstream and get back in front of you. But you don't want to leave it too late that you can't get the move done yourself. So I think when it gets down to that final 10 minutes, that's when the important overtakes are going to be happening. And that's when I would personally be looking to get the overtakes done. Until then, I mean, you just want to work with the driver, pull as big a gap to the people behind you as you can, and start developing your own little groups, and then there's less people to worry about fighting.
No, I completely agree with you on that one. It's just for me around probably about the 15-minute mark is that's where I'm thinking, right, I need to start doing something now because it's going to take me a few minutes to get into whatever I'm trying to do, trying to get past the driver in front of me or just trying to catch up the pack in front of me. But I need to start doing something now. Harder driving usually brings a couple of incidents, especially if the drivers are quite close together. But at the moment, they've all got a nice little bit of a gap. You've got obviously Daniel Paul, he's within half a second of Jordan Butler that we're looking at right now. You've got James Moore, he's a couple of tenths behind John Harley in front of him, down in 11th and 10th respectively. I want to try and be chasing someone, try and getting past them as soon as I can, really, just so I can solidify my position out on track come the end of it when the checkered flag is flying.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it's interesting strategies, isn't it, around a track like this? Because you haven't got those easy moments to get an overtake done. So yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's kind of what we've been saying. You gotta pick and choose the right time, haven't you?
No, absolutely. It looks like Daniel Paul tracked a little bit wide there. Drops a little bit of time now to Jordan Butler, so he's just under 8 tenths. We'll have a little look at that. So it's come round, it's flicked him out left again, straight across the grass again.
Yeah,
I think that's his track from before as well.
Yeah, it's just something about the way they got to set them up to get that speed. It seems to be getting them really unstable on those big curves. I mean, they are surprisingly big curves, and those cars really do attack them. And then, I guess as the tire wear goes down throughout the race, you get that less stability coming off them. As James Vardigan's there getting a little bit of another slowdown going through that chicane as well.
Well, you definitely see the impact, don't you, of those curves? Because look how much it flings you out to the left-hand side of the track. 9 times out of 10, you're going across that grass. And Daniel Paul did very well there. He still managed to keep a lot of speed. He didn't track too far out. I think he only had 4 tires on the grass for probably about half a second worth. But it's just one of them. He's just going to lose you that time, and he's lost that time now to Jordan Butler ahead. There's that second gap now. And that, with 20 minutes to go, is going to be pretty hard to bring down, especially when there's no one else around you. Yeah, you don't want to be defending, but Jordan's got no one really in front of him to slow him down for Daniel Paul.
Yeah, seeing James Moore here, though, really looking to make that move on John Harley and work his way up through the field. and it's just getting as close as he possibly can, trying to get all that slipstream, just showing his nose in some of the corners, taking that little bit of an inside line, just to start getting John to start looking in his mirrors and start throwing him off slightly. But John seems fairly unfazed, and he's just carrying on putting down those really quick lap times.
It's always nice to see an AM going up against a pro, isn't it? And that's what we're seeing
Yeah.
with James Moore taking on John Harley. There's no one else really from around to race in their own classes, so why not have a little scrap between yourselves?
Oh, absolutely. And I think what's really nice about this league as well is the difference between the pros and the AMs. It, like you said, it's absolutely nothing. Well, I mean, obviously there's a little bit of a difference in throughout some of it, but it's enough that you can have these good battles throughout the entire field and just have fun driving with people. Like if you know you're not going to be fighting for high points, why not just enjoy the race?
No, I completely agree with you, but we do say it sometimes. How some of these AMs are rated as AMs is beyond me, because Daniel Paul and Jordan Butler seems to be having a great race every week at the moment. Like how these guys are AMs, I've seen them in previous seasons. They are brilliant drivers. Should
Yeah.
change that to a little blue symbol, I think, next to their names.
I think a couple of them might get a little promotion at the end of the season because they really are showing how good they are. Because I mean, when we started watching, Jordan Butler, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, in the previous seasons was a bit further down the field, and just as time has gone on, he's just consistently getting further and further up to the point that he's now fighting amongst the pros. And same with Daniel Paul as well. Daniel Paul this season has done phenomenally, and yeah, both of them just really like showing everyone what they've got and just showing how much they've developed as a season has gone on.
Well, I completely agree with you, especially looking like Jordan Butler as well. Like I'm going to bring up his earlier seasons and at the start of the season because we all know how much of a brilliant livery he had back then. I'm not going to talk about it though. But no, he's been picked up by a team now. I think it's Spectra Racing he's a part of. Like he's doing brilliantly, and this is what I'm on about, Jim. You really do see the improvement when like you stick around with these guys for a couple of seasons and you're watching them week after week after week. You're seeing how good they're getting, and then you are ultimately rewarded. Jordan Butler, prime example, got himself picked up by a team.
Yeah, and we just saw there Matthew Down getting the move done on Jan Whitaker and working his way back up, not too far off of top 10 now. He's pushing it as hard as he can, getting those nice clean overtakes done to work his way back up through the field. Daniel Paul still really putting the pressure on Jordan Butler here. Both of them are fighting the entire race, and yeah, 45 minutes of battling so far, or 44 minutes, and that's been, yeah, I think
There you
both of
go.
them
He's
probably
made the
need a
move
bit
at
of
the
a break.
moment.
He's made the move, but then Jordan,
Has he?
I don't
Has
think
he got?
Jordan Butler was left quite enough room on that final turn there. He's not happy with that, flashing at Daniel Paul. I think yeah, Daniel Paul should have definitely given him a bit more room going through there.
And Jordan Butler's picked up the slowdown as well, Jim.
Yeah, he got forced off of that, and I think it's the second time that Daniel Paul has forced him into that slowdown penalty. So he's not going to be happy about that whatsoever. He has served it now, but he's half a second off of Daniel Paul.
There you go. Great to see a little bit of a battle out there. Shame that it has caused a little bit of a slowdown for Butler, but he's still within half a second at the moment, so he's going to be chasing him down on that one. You got Craig Horish now chasing down Ryan Clark. He's within 2 tenths at the moment. He's going to be looking to get side by side with him and take that P3 position. He wants that last podium position by the look of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the one that I think most people are going to be fighting for this season. I think it's all about the P3 for the rest of the group. I think Andy and Harry, I mean, they're just so far ahead, and whatever they're doing is just absolutely working for them. And I think what really helps is the fact that when they can get away early, they get into that clean air and they're just driving on their own so much, not having to worry about battling, and it just allows them to just consistently pull away as the race goes on.
Well,
Whereas we've seen Ryan, Craig, and Harry are just non-stop in battling this entire time, slowing each
no,
other down, and just creates that bigger gap to Harry Price and Andy White up at the front.
we got nearly 37 seconds up to Harry Price at the moment. I think you've got to stop thinking about them two for now. The race is really between third, fourth, and fifth here, between Harry Seven, Craig Horish, and Ryan Clark, who's leading the way at the moment. But there's barely half a second between the three of them at the moment out on track. It is very tight. Craig Horish still chasing down Ryan Clark at the moment, but Harry Seven sitting right behind Craig Horish as well there, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very stressful point for Craig here because he is battling well two teammates, as you can see. They got the same
Yeah.
livery, same car, and they're going to be working together to try and figure out how to keep Craig behind both of them. What they could do as they both go for the well, as they get the overtake done, Craig is now down into P5.
Yeah, brilliant overtake there from Harry Seven. Real nice, clean overtake on Craig Corish there to get himself up next to his teammate. Ryan Clark still in third at the moment, about half a second to Harry Seven, his teammate behind him. Craig Corish, though, hasn't gone anywhere, just under 2/10 at the moment, James. Are we going to be expecting to see another move, possibly from Craig Corish, very, very shortly?
Oh yeah, I mean you could see how close he was after those, like going into that first chicane of the lap. He was right up into Harry's bumper there, and I think at this point Harry's going to be wanting to just get on the blower with Ryan and just go, look, how can we
Well,
what can we do to kind of pull away from the other drivers as Craig sticking his nose on the inner side, trying to throw off Harry. Does he get alongside? No, backs out a little bit, but Harry does leave the room, and he he backs
not
out, keeps
quite.
it sensible and clean, and yeah, they
Stays
live to
down in
race
P5
another
at
day.
the moment, but again,
Yeah,
there's
sticking on
barely
board.
anything between them.
No, but sticking on board with Greg, you see just how flat out this track is, flat out this entire way, going into the heaviest braking zone of the lap as they go through this little chicane here, over the curb, again, attack the next curb along, and then we've got another one here. There's a little less section, but you get so aggressively on those curbs, track out wide, and you're back on the throttle so hard, and you just follow in that slipstream all the way through. You see they're constantly turning, a little bit left here, a little bit right here, lifting off just to get that rotation on the front end of the car, keeping within the track limits as much as they dare, sticking with that slipstream. The other cars in front, trying to get that slipstream off the car in front of them. Again, over the curb, but you can just see how much flat out these guys are. We're almost at the end of the lap now. It's such a short lap. There's one chicane and then pretty much flat out for the rest of it. And here we go, the final chicane of the lap. Harry looking, well, Craig looking to make a move there, can't get it done. And yeah, big heavy curves, really unsettles the car. You can see it bouncing along and then back flat out. So that is the entire track. Not a lot to go on there, but you can just see how difficult it is to get those moves done.
No, if you're chasing, it's like you said, there's not a lot really going on that lap per se. You know, it's a very fast lap, like you really quickly just covered. But if you're racing, there is a lot to do while you're out there, though. Still,
Yeah, there's a lot to think about, and because of the width of the track as well, you can really take those different lines. But it is all about getting that good dive down into the final chicane to get alongside of them, slow your opponents down, and then just get through and get the better run out of there, and just carry that momentum through for the rest of the lap.
no, absolutely. Whilst that was going on, there was another flag out on track. Mike Chadwick, who was down in 17th, down to 20th now at the moment. So not too sure what that one was for, but just to keep everybody updated with what is going on. Right, chat. We are coming up into those last 10 minutes. If you're still with us, let us know who is your driver of the day so far. Jimmy,
Big
same
hit for
to you.
Craig there, but he does get the move done, and now he is back into fighting for P2. Yep, sorry, I'll get back to the.
No, carry on.
Oh, it's so difficult to call who I reckon my driver of the day is, because it could be any one of these three. They've all driven so phenomenally, but I'm tempted to, you know what? I'm going to call it now. Driver of the day, I'm going to give it to Craig. I know
Okay.
Ryan and Harry have been driving so phenomenally, and so is Craig. They've all been driving, I'd say, the same level of skill, but just the fact that Craig is fighting teammates, I think, it just makes his job so much harder, and to just really put his car in these really good places. So I'm going to give my driver of the day so far to Craig Corish here.
Okay, well, there's still just under 10 minutes, Jim, on that one. So I won't take your final answer just yet, but no,
I'm locking it in. I'm locking it in.
You're locking in, Craig. Okay, no. No, I'm not disputing that at all. He's had a brilliant drive today, currently sitting up in P5. P4. Is he going to be able to get himself up into P3? There is just that second gap at the minute to Ryan Clark ahead of him.
Is that one of the lead cars going off there? Is that
I believe that was Andy White,
Andy
tracking
White, yeah.
slightly wide there, but he's got himself a 13-second lead to Harry Price behind him, just under that. I don't think he's going to be too concerned with that one, is he really?
He's not going to be quaking in his racing boots with the potential of Harry Price catching up to him at any moment now. And look at that. Was that Harry 7 making the move on Ryan Clark?
Craig
these three have just been battling so much. I think this is going to be really good for Ryan Clark here, because these two battling is just allowing him to pull further and further away. And
Well, we had a second. We had a second, literally about a minute ago. We're up to a 1718 at the moment, and going up even higher. Craig
oh,
Corish getting round Harry 7 again. There, these two are proper back and forth at the minute. I think the race now, Jim, is between fourth and fifth.
yeah,
But
yeah, he
yeah, we
managed to
still got
carry
Daniel
so
Paul.
much speed on the inside there. Downey Paul, or
Oh,
Jordan Butler
Jordan
just
Butler going
going.
slightly wide, letting Daniel pull through there.
Yeah, I think that might have just been a slight overreaction on Jordan Butler's side. He probably saw that Daniel Paul was alongside him, and then but couldn't see him quite off the side of his car, and then thought best give him room if nothing else. And yeah, I think he just went a little bit too wide.
Yeah, you don't want to really be causing any issues 52 minutes into your 60-minute race, do you? That could
No,
impact your positions out on track.
but like you said, 52 minutes into a 60-minute race, and he did just lose his position, and he's now 8 tenths, 9 tenths, nearly a second off of that time. He needs to get back in that slipstream, and he really needs to put the pressure on Daniel Paul and get that move done.
Well,
But it's going to be especially difficult, sorry, just quickly for him as well. And Daniel Paul making a big mistake there allows Jordan Butler to get right up behind, but they have also got the lead car of Andy White right behind them, who's going to be wanting to get past them at some point in the next 8 minutes, because all they'll be doing is holding him up and allow Harry Price to catch up to them. As you can see, he's already gained an extra 2 seconds on Andy White there.
we'll have to
So
see what happens with that one, though, Jim, because these cars, they don't have to let him through initially, especially if they're fighting, but they're going to want him out of the way, aren't they, really, and not impeding them at all there. Because Dan Paul, like you said, a little bit of an incident there a second ago, did get that time down for Jordan Butler there, which had gone up to nearly that second point. They're just over, well, 6, 7 tenths at the moment. Oh, no, Harry 7. So he's got it well under a tenth at the moment. So he's right on Craig Corish.
He's
They're going
just
to have a
getting
little
caught up
swap
behind
around
Jan
again.
Whittaker again there. The lapped car of Jan Whittaker, I think, just getting in the
Oh,
way, holding up this battle a little bit. Obviously, like you said, they don't have to move out of the way for each other, and it does make this a bit more interesting. I think Craig Corish is just getting blocked in a little bit there, flashing to Jan, saying he wants to get past. And I think that was a bit
Jan.
cheeky from Jan there.
Jan did not want to let him pass there.
No, he did not want to
There you go.
at all. But no,
He's
they
letting
have
him go
got
now.
past, and yeah, the fight continues between those two.
It's good to see Jan giving them the positions there, definitely. But
Yeah,
a
he made
little
them
bit
work for it a
cheeky,
little bit.
a little bit cheeky there from him, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it got a little close for comfort, but yeah, those two, I don't think it impacted their race at all. But it just allowed Ryan Clark really pulling away now, just able to.
He's got a second and a half on Harry 7
Yeah,
and
but he has
Craig
actually
Corish
come out behind
behind
a bit of
him.
traffic himself with is that James Vardigans that they're just getting past now? So
These back markers really could play a quite pivotal moment here for these guys, especially with Daniel Paul and Jordan Butler battling below them as well.
yeah, I was just thinking about that with the battle we were looking at previously with Andy White catching up to the back of those lot. And I think yeah, sometimes maybe like allowing the cars past if they are lapping you and just giving yourself that sort of slipstream of momentum. Is his wheel locked in the front right?
Let's have a look.
It looks
Not
it looks little bit dented in. It might just be maybe I need to go to the opticians, but it just looked a little bit
definitely.
little bit dented in there. But you can see what I mean. You can see a bit more of it on one side of the car than the other as well. It looks like he's got a bit of damage, but
Potentially. I'm not too. Oh no, it does look a little bit. Are you on about that front left? Are you?
I was on about the front right. Maybe it's just the design of the car. I'm not used to the,
I think I
the
think
look
it
of the
might just be the
Aston.
design then, because
Yeah,
I think we both might be a bit wrong on that one there. Well,
yeah,
I
ignore that
don't think
waffle.
anything's happened. I don't think that one's happened for him for James Moore down there. But no, it's with 40 seconds between second and third, you're pretty convinced that the top two are going to stay pretty much the way they are. The race, though, is on really between Harry 7 and Craig Corish. They are still side by side at the minute with a couple of attempts in it. They keep getting right next to each other. We've seen a couple of overtakes and switchbacks straight away. It's going to be a great race for a P4 here today, Jim.
Yeah, they're really working for those positions this race, and it has been nice to see the whole battling so close between everyone. Really been working for it, and because it is such a short track as well, that dealing with the traffic, we haven't really had that as much in previous races. So it is really playing a factor in what positions people get, because yeah, there's almost like three sort of separate fights going on. You've got the lapped cars, you've got the the cars on the lead lap, and then you've got Harry Price and Andy Andy White up there working their way back through the field as well.
No, you
So it has been very,
definitely
very
do.
interesting.
Well, they haven't got, at least haven't got to worry about anyone coming up behind them. They've got a lovely little 15, 16-second gap between Daniel Paul, who is currently holding off Jordan Butler as well at the moment, down in P6, P7, P1, P2 in class for now. That's been an interesting one so far, this race, but less than 5 minutes to go, mate. Half a second, 4/10 in it at the minute for Jordan Butler to catch up on Daniel Paul and get the moves on with these back markers and other cars around. There is a lot for him to think about here.
Yeah, I mean, these two are going to be really wanting to get through that traffic very quickly, and yeah, the traffic just moves right out of their way, and they can carry on battling for that position. Andy White, though, still stuck behind them. He's losing a lot of time. Oh, Harry Price has actually just lost a absolute ton of time. I think something's happened to him, because he was about 7 seconds away, and now he's down to 18. Let's take a little look at that. So is he just... I think the tires are just gone.
Has
Yeah,
he
you can see in the
stayed on
back
this
end it's just
side?
gone, and he's just going and just going and just going, and just yeah, no way to save it. I think he's just. It's like we said, the entire time through this track they are turning. You're flat out and you're turning, and just put so much heat and wear on those tires. As a look at those two get a little bit argy bargy on these last
Still
final laps.
going for it. But
Yeah,
no,
we've
we've
got
got
about
just over 2 minutes left to go, and these two
yeah
are
about
side by
3 laps
side.
left. It's going to be very very interesting to see who comes out the victor out of that lot.
With
And
Harry
as
7 just took on
Jordan
Craig
Butler though.
Corish
Yeah, Jordan Butler getting right up on
and Dan
Daniel
Paul.
Paul there. I think this is going to be the interesting fight to look at, because this is for P1 in the AMs between these two, and yeah, they've been battling hard. I think Andy White there is just sat behind. He's just letting the fight happen at this point. No point getting involved with only a minute and a half left to go on the race, and yeah, allowing this fight to just play out as it would.
No, definitely doesn't want to
I
get
gotta say,
himself
I
involved
do
in anything.
appreciate that mentality of because I think yeah, he could force his way past Jordan Butler, and then that's it. Daniel Paul gets the win or whatever happens, but no, he's allowing them to fight with Craig Corish as well, right on Harry 7. These two again battling this entire race. They must be just absolutely knackered at this point.
It's just so close between these two, and again between Jordan Butler and Dan Paul as well. It'll be really interesting to see who does finish where. Obviously, Harry Seven's just got the edge at the moment, half a second behind Craig Corish currently. There is not long left to go. We are in our last minute here, Jim.
Yeah, the last minute, but I think this will be yeah, because that's the leader crossing the start finish line now. Less than a minute to go, so this will be the final lap of the race. I think we know who our winner is going to be. 16 seconds clear of P2, and yeah, he's just driven an absolutely flawless race this evening.
No, start to finish P1 the whole time round. P1 in qualifying as well. Another brilliant weekend there from Andy White.
Yeah, Jordan Butler as well is going to be really wanting to get that move done, but he has fallen back a little bit. I think that last chicane, I think he just had a little bit of a moment coming out of there. He's down to 8/10 behind Daniel Paul. Going to start to fall out of that really good slipstream, and he's got a lot of making up to do, and yeah, he's fallen to that 1 second behind. I think this will be Daniel Paul's race if he can keep it clean.
Ain't going to be able to do
Though,
anything at the end here, though, Jim.
yeah, I was going to
He's
say Harry
really,
7
really
getting ahead of
close.
Greg. It's yeah, a heck of a battle between that lot. I think they've also caught up to Ryan Clark as well. I mean,
Could there be a complete change here for the third spot on the podium?
yeah, I mean Ryan's led for so long. I don't think he's going to want to give up that position anytime soon. As
Well, he
Jordan
had a
Butler
second and a
gets a
half.
black flag, so
No.
black flag right as they cross the finish line. That is
we'll have
very
to find out
unfortunate.
what that is for. We'll find out what that is for.
Yeah, that's going to give him a hefty penalty. I don't know if it's 40-second penalty. I might be wrong. I'm not gonna say anything until we see the final results at the end. But yeah, so far Andy White in P1, Harry Price in P2, and we shall see. Here's the battle for P3 that we've been watching this entire race.
Harry 7 now up in P3 with Craig Corish in P4 and Ryan Clark in P5. It's completely swapped around there, Jim.
Yeah,
Harry
I mean,
7 now P3.
Come on, show us why I gave you driver of the day. You didn't tell me who your driver of the day was. Quickly before the race ends.
Oh, Daniel Paul in the AMs. My apologies.
So yeah, okay. Craig, give him a little flash there as a good win to well, not a good win, but a good race to Ryan Clark in front. And yeah, I think those three deserve a darn good just sit down and relax at the end of this. The same with
These
Daniel
guys are
Paul
going to
and
be
Jordan Butler.
absolutely exhausted.
Yeah, look at
Not
that.
left each other
Little
alone for an
wiggle,
hour.
little flash. Yeah, well done to him. So Andy White, P1 in the pros, and Daniel Paul, P1 in the AMs. Good racing from everyone here this evening. I mean, so close, so much traffic to deal with, so many overtakes getting done, so many battles going on. I mean, yeah, it's been fantastic. Sadly,
That
we
was
didn't
an
get to see any
absolutely
drag
brilliant
racing
race.
on that strip at the end there. But
it would have been good to have seen there, James. But do you want to let everybody at home know exactly how that finished tonight?
Yep, so we have Andy White, like I said, P1 overall and P1 in the pros, followed by Harry Price, and then Harry 7 round out your top 3 in the pros, followed by Craig Corish, P2 in the AMs. Yeah, it looks like he got that 40-second penalty, roughly, for crossing getting that black flag as he crossed the line, but still maintains that P2, so well done to them, followed by John Harley, and then James Moore is your P3 in the AMs, so that's your podiums there. Then we've got Elmer Van Beek, Matthew Down, Matthew Massey, Simon McPhee, Jan Whittaker, Casper Roost, James Vardigans, Raymond Van der Zutphen, Christopher Haynes, Dinan Bronze, Mike Chadwick, Adrian Hadfield, Sean Clark, round out your 22 drivers that raced this evening.
Absolutely brilliant race that was.
Yeah, what's your final thoughts then?
Well, we'll get it out there real quickly. Like you did just ask me right at the end there. Daniel Paul was my am driver of the day pick, mate. I was really impressed with him. He battled hard throughout the entirety of that 60 minutes with someone, and got himself a really, really good finish there to get himself P1 in the AMs. That is why he's my driver of the day in there, mate. But no, that was an absolute fantastic race. But shall we have a chat to a couple of the boys, shall we?
Yeah, let's bring him in. Should we start with Andy White, our overall winner of the race?
Yeah, let's get Andy back in here again and see how he's doing. Andy, good evening again. Good to see you again in here, mate. How are you feeling?
Good evening, fellas. Yeah, it was all right. There was a couple of questionable overtakes on lap cars towards the end on Daniel Poole and Jordan Butler. So sorry to those guys. After that, I just looked at the relative and I thought I'll just leave them guys to battle.
Yeah, we did think that you were just leaving it for them at the end, just to have their win. But yeah, you seem to just drive absolutely flawlessly this weekend. And I think as another note, you must be getting sick of hearing our voices in these interviews.
Feature each and every week now, mate. You've got to be tired of it.
Nah, I love you guys. You do a great job.
Cheers for
Thank you
that,
very
bud.
much.
But no, you had a brilliant race, mate. You were 16 seconds clear of your teammate Harry Price today when you crossed that line, mate. So you done really, really well. Huge gap again between you guys at Mono and in P3 for Harry 7 today. It was a brilliant race. Don't know if you're going to watch it later, mate, but do check out that race at P3 because that was phenomenal. But no, you
Yeah.
guys absolutely smash it each and every week. Really, what are you putting on your Weetabix in the morning?
I think it's just the practice, buddy. We do quite a lot of practice over the weekend before, so I've done about
fair enough, mate.
2 hours of practice for this race, which on the grand scheme of things are not a lot, but for a 1 hour race, it's double the race distance. So, yeah,
Brilliant, mate.
And I know Harry's not had as much practice, nowhere near. He's probably got half an hour, 40 minutes in. So for his pace today, and he's still flying. And if he'd have done some more practice, he'd have been right up there, probably in front of me.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Well, we're going to let you go, and you never know. We'll probably end up speaking to you again next week, mate. But anyone you want to give a thank you to or give a shout out to before we do let you get off?
Always a shout out to Mono Competition for all the support them lads give. It's great. Shout out to Sean for putting it on. Shout out to you guys for the broadcast, and a shout out to the missus and the kids for the support.
Thanking you, mate. Thanking you for that one. We'll get yourself off, mate, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Cheers, fellas. Catch you later.
See you later, mate. Who do you want to speak to next, then, Jim?
I believe we've got a Daniel Paul, our winner in the AMS division. So let's bring him in here.
Good evening, Daniel. How you doing? P1 today, mate, in the AMS. How you feeling?
Whoop, whoop. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. It's the hardest race I've ever been in, I swear.
Mate, it was a brilliant race to watch with you fighting out there with Jordan Butler for pretty much most of that, especially towards the end there. That was some brilliant driving from the pair of you. You had to work for it for a little bit. You stuck behind him for a little while though, mate. But got there, got past him, and kept that P1 in position. So it's got to be a good feeling.
It is. It was just saying there how hard it was in the race, and we obviously both changed tyres. So yeah, I'm knackered to be honest.
You sounded good.
But no, honestly, Jordan was so fast, so quick today. I was like, I've got to get in front of him. If I can get in front of him, I'll stay in front, and that was my goal. And
Got it done.
Unfortunately, got it done at the end.
Got it done there right at the end, mate. But no, well done on that one, though, mate. You do sound
Thank
absolutely exhausted, so we won't keep you
I
for
am.
too long, mate. So
Thank
before
you.
we let you go, anyone you want to say thank you to or give a shout out to, mate?
Everyone in this league, it's fantastic. It's obviously made me a better driver over the last few seasons. So just everyone here, just pushing each other along. And so congratulations to the winners and the podium finishers today. And thank you to you guys as well. Without you, it's less entertaining.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, mate. Well, go get yourself off, go get chill out, mate, and have a good one, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next week, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you later, mate. Oh, good lad so far. But
Shall we bring in a Mr. Harry 7 in to have a little chat?
Harry 7, 100% P3 today, out on track, P3 in the pros. How are you doing, mate?
Evening, gents. I think, it's got to be PC this or adult friendly. I'm just sat in a pool of a mess. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. That's possibly one of the most intense races I've ever done. There was just no rest. There was wherever you are, someone was trying to put a move on you, no matter where you are on the track.
Yeah, we were watching. There's basically two main battles going on that entire race. So I think you got equal about 50% share of the stream there. But yeah, that battle looks really, really intense, and we saw you get gaining so much on Ryan Clark towards the end. And yeah, that battle with Craig was just mental. I mean, you guys did so well there.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I do need to apologise because I did send him round as I come out of the pit. So just the cold tyres really did me as I went into that sort of first braking zone. But other than that, it was mental. And then Ryan, unfortunately, I think he lost the rear just going out. So I was able to slip underneath him. And then obviously Craig followed us as well. So yeah, it was just crazy, that race.
I did wonder what happened with Ryan next. He had about a second and a half on you guys at one point, and then it just completely changed. You got yourself up into P3, you got past Craig, you got past Ryan. Everything just seemed to swap around and coming right into your favour there, mate.
Yeah, I think a couple of lap cars sort of brought me into it, and then a couple of others I just sort of got lucky on other people's mistakes. So yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that, to be honest.
Well, no, you had a brilliant race, mate. Brilliant race, and it was great to watch as well, especially that fight you had pretty much the whole way with Craig Corish there, mate.
Yeah, I bet. Are you not entertained? Is what we should be saying.
Yeah, mate, very entertaining indeed. Very entertaining indeed. Look, we're not going to keep you for too long, though, mate. So before we let you go, anyone you want to say thank you or give a shout out to?
No, well, it's just the usual. So obviously, you guys behind the scenes with the broadcast, Connor on the steward, and Sean who runs it all, and then also so a shout out to the Spectra lads. They make it, some of the chat that goes on there makes it enjoyable, and then also as well the others, that the missus who actually gives me the time to go and do it. So yeah, just everyone behind the scenes, appreciate it.
She's a good one. No worries, mate. You have yourself a good one, and we will catch up with you next week.
Cheers, guys.
See you later, mate. Right, Jimmy, shall we get our P2 in the AMS, Mr. Jordan Butler, in with us?
Yeah, let's bring him in here. Jordan Butler, how's it going?
Oh, hello.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing? P2 in the AMS there today with that little bit of a scare right at the end with the black flag, mate. What happened there to get that, first of all?
Well, just me and Daniel going at it basically the whole race. And then last chicane, I just went past the chicane too much, and it gave me the 1x to put me over the instant limit. But luckily, we were so far in front, it sort of didn't really matter too much.
No, we had a really, really good race today, mate. You gave us a lot of good viewing there again today. You are becoming a pretty Mr. Consistent for us, one to keep an eye on, because you are never leaving anybody alone. You had a really good race today, mate.
Thank you. It was mental. Honestly, I've never sweat so much in a race in my life, I don't think.
We've heard that from, I think, every driver that's come on to the interview here. I think they're all very, very stressful race because, yeah, I think not only you're battling each other, but you're battling lap cars and lots of traffic, and yeah, it seemed very stressful for a lot of people out there this evening.
And tires were a big factor. I mean, normally I don't change tires after an hour, but within what 35 to 30 minutes, the understeer was just nearly unbearable.
Yeah, I think quite a few people did end up changing tires because yeah, you're basically just turning the entire time, aren't you, with how the track's laid out.
Yeah, and it's only a couple of lifts really, and a couple of braking zones. This track is quite fun, but you have to be really like precise to get the proper lap time out of it. It's good. I do like it.
No,
Yeah, it's good
well,
old track.
fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you.
Yeah, you definitely
You-
put on you and Daniel Paul definitely put on a very entertaining show for us this evening.
It was definitely entertaining from my side. I'll say that.
No worries, mate. Well, we'll let you go. And before you do that, anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to, mate?
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend Chelsea, my 2 kids, my best friend Liam, who normally watches. I don't know if he was watching today, but my best friend Liam always watches me race. Everybody at Spectra Racing, and thank you to the sponsors, simworks.co.uk.
Thank you, mate. Well, you get yourself off, mate, and we'll catch you on the next one. Right then, Jimmy, I think we got time for one more. P3 in the AMS today, James Moore. Good evening, James. P3 today in the AMS. How you feeling, mate?
I'm feeling a lot better that there's a bit of silverware to come away from that race.
Well, you had a really good race, mate. A lot for you to work for out there today.
Yeah, certainly the comeback of the century, I think. After me and Jordan had a bit of contact, the car was all over the place. So early pit stop. That thankfully paid off with the fuel. I had 30 seconds left of fuel on my counter.
Oh, wow.
Now very tired at the end there.
So yeah, that was good. That was certainly well. I think that was certainly well worked for.
Well, you done it a couple of races ago, mate. P3, you got a Brands Hatch. You got P3 again today, mate. Looking for that improvement next time out?
I'm always looking for that improvement.
Well,
Always looking for that improvement.
aim for that silverware, mate. Definitely.
That's the one. That's the one.
But we won't keep you for too long, mate. But before we do let you go, anyone you want to say thank you to or give a shout out to before you go?
I'll give a shout out to you guys. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for putting the broadcast on for us. It's great to have you.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. And great to have you in the league with us racing as well, mate. But go get yourself off, mate. Go chill out, and we'll catch you next week.
Cheers, guys. Take care.
See you later, mate. Always good to end on a high like that one, Jimmy.
Yeah. That was a cracking race if I do say so myself. But yeah, that would be checkered flag from us here at Thruxton and checkered flag from us here at Trackside Broadcasting. Big thank you to everyone for watching, all the drivers and yeah, everyone at home and anyone that comments in the YouTube chat as well. Really appreciated. Gaz, any final words?
No, Jim, just want to reiterate on that one. Thank you to everyone for being with us in the broadcast, who's watching us, give us a little comment along. Thanks for joining us. As always, we have definitely been treated to another quality race this evening, mate. But that is it from Thruxton. Next, we're heading back nearer the north of the country, back towards Liverpool, Manchester kind of way. We're in Cheshire. We're at Alton Park. Another truly best of British track, mate. We're on the international layout there. But before we sign off, I just want to thank all of our sponsors, Spectra Racing, Clark St. James Motorsport, and us here at Trackside for bringing all of this together, making it all happen, and the Tanzo Racing Group for having us with you again this season. But for now, everybody, have a good night. Have a good rest of your week. We will catch you all next week at the exact same time as 7:45, so don't miss it as we head over to Alton Park. Good night, everybody.